What question type do you have the most challenging time with in IELTS writing? There's so
Um,
many different question types, task one, task two, and the questions.
I'm not very, into the task two options.
Mm.
I mainly did the opinion one. So I don't know the others much, like the problem or the others.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to also practice them every day, one of them each. So I don't know much about that, but the task one, uh, I think the not process but diagrams, like
Yes, the diagram question, pie chart,
also,
line
yeah, but
graph.
the thing that sometimes it is under the word limit. Sometimes it
Okay.
requires 150, but
Yes.
I get like 140, let's say.
Okay.
So it's the issue, I guess. So yeah, I am not used to do the task two tasks, but I will.
Okay.
But about task one, I think not the pie chart or the others, but maybe the diagrams because
Diagram.
they're less
Ye-
common.
yes, I know those could be challenging, and it's so important that you kind of practice or you understand a breakdown of how exactly to understand the information in the chart. I know it could be difficult. And with the 150 word limit, the best thing I always recommend students doing is outlining your like what you're gonna write, brainstorming. When I say outlining, I mean brainstorm your ideas before you start writing. So this is something I swear by in both task one and task two. It will save you so much time, number one, because you're not thinking of ideas to write while you are writing. But if you take 1 minute in the beginning and highlight maybe all the important trends or important increases or declines that you are going to cover before you start writing, then that way this will help you because you know how you're going to format what you are writing, and you are going to include all these different trends or increases in your writing. So try this next time you are practicing. I will tell you, choose certain things that you are going to talk about before you start writing. And then that way you know what to cover in your writing, and you know to make sure it's at least 150 words minimum. Because this is so important before you start writing, because you only have 20 minutes in task one. It's not a long time. Maybe you don't get to 150 words because you're thinking of ideas to write while you are writing. So that's why I always recommend to, before you start writing, like I said, choose what you're going to write about. And even in task two, so it's not even about structure. Yes, structure is important, but what you are going to write about is so important. But if you are thinking of ideas to write, like while you are writing your essay, you will the time will pass. It's only 40 minutes. So you have to think of the ideas before you start writing. And task 2 too. This is my biggest tip for you, is brainstorm your ideas before you start writing. Um
Yeah.
because this is a big part of making sure you are able to write fluently, coherently, use the lexical resource, ensure that you could meet up to the expectations of the band descriptors. So, even with these practice tests, I recommend you to do that. Only spend 1 to 2 minutes maximum, 2 minutes to brainstorm, and then so 30 minutes or something to write for task two. But spend some time to always review your work after too. You have to review your work, because you could make a slight error, maybe punctuation mark, maybe grammar, maybe spelling mistake.
I'm also worried about the topic. Sometimes I cannot know what
Yes,
topic is really
relate to it.
working
Yeah.
in parts of the topic, so it gives me some worry. But for example, the other, we checked the task. So the topic was really general. So, I also had to deal with working from home.
Hmm.
So I was used to how to write something. But, when it is time to topic that I don't know, how can I approach?
Honestly, the best way to do it is maybe think of, like, one idea I used to give students is think of the 5 W's: who, what, where, why, how. If you could think of how you could relate these 5 W's to that sentence, that topic that the examiner is asking you, maybe you could come up with some ideas. Basic, right? Especially technology. I'm not really into technology. Like you saw earlier, I couldn't even figure out my mic situation. So, if you could think of these type of things for who, maybe if the question asks you about technology, what you think of technology and advancement, maybe what you think of artificial intelligence. I know this is a question that some people are taking. What kind of ideas can you come about thinking about, maybe who of artificial intelligence, who uses it? Maybe you could talk about who uses it, even if you can't relate to it. You're Remember, this is an English test. The examiner is not marking you on if you are answering the exact question. He wants to know how well you are writing in English. So even if you cannot relate to the topic and you kind of change the topic, this is okay. This is okay. So imagine he asks you, "Oh, have you ever used artificial intelligence, or tell me about a time you used artificial intelligence in writing and you never used artificial intelligence?" What are you going to say? So you have to change it up, right? You have to say, "Okay, well, he's asking me about artificial intelligence. I've never used it. So let's talk about who else uses it." Lots of corporations, lots of businesses. Then you come up with a million ideas why they use it. Maybe why they use it. They use it because it saves them a ton of time in their business. Where they use it. They use it online. They use it in, I don't know in Turkey if this is like this, but now in checkouts, like in the cash registers, they use it. You come up with so many ideas.